So after Immaculate, I went and saw Late Night with the Devil. The movie that I was looking forward to more than Immaculate. And ironically, I got a trailer for Immaculate. I never got a trailer for Late Night with the Devil. But this was something that I've been hearing about for quite a bit of time. I've been hearing about this movie and I know this movie's had a really strong word of mouth for like a few years now, or like it's been. I looked it up as like it premiered at South by Southwest last year, and it wasn't until about a few months ago I was started hearing rumblings about this movie called Late Night with the Devil, and I was like, all right. And I kept hearing more, like I kept seeing the title pop up quite a bit, like, and a lot of people talking about how great it was and how fucking freaky and scary it was. I'm like, all right. And then, like, I really was shocked when I found out, oh, hey, my theater's playing it this week. I was like, oh, I was like, I get to finally see this movie. A lot of people have been hyping up for me. Um, and god damn, is this movie really good? I, I really, really, really fucking love this movie. You can see it's not being for everybody, but for me, I really enjoyed the hell out of this. I think for the most part, this is getting really well received by audiences too. I'll talk about the crowd I was with a little bit later, but um, where do I fucking start with this thing? Like, so wh- first thing I fucking loved about this movie, although this movie did almost lose me right at the beginning when he had like a minute, I swear to God, a minute long of fucking production company logos. That needs to fucking stop. I cannot stand when movies fucking do that anymore. And this was probably the worst example I've ever seen. Like, I get it. They had to get a lot of funding, like to be able to release this to theaters and get like all these production companies and stuff like that. I know this movie's gonna be on Shutter in a month or so, but calm down with these fucking production logos, company logos. It is really. It was literally like a minute. Like half of this movie was production. I swear to fucking God, go watch this movie and time it. I didn't time it, but like I'm just gonna time it. Next time I watch this, I'll time it and see how fucking long. But from the get go, I was just in love with this fucking thing. Uh, it sets up this little like universe that this is an alternate universe where uh, I forget the actor's name. I don't know if it like I cannot pronounce his name. He's the he was the polka dot man in Suicide Squad, and he is this late night talk show host who uh in this alternate universe in the '70s, he's like the number two to Johnny Carson, and like is always been his goal is to try to be number one, but he always like comes up short nonstop in his career, and he's like obsessed with like trying to become famous, and he's willing to do anything. And then like a year before this movie happens, his wife dies of cancer that he like had been married to for quite a while, and then his ratings start to plummet. And so they established pretty quickly that this guy, like where this guy is coming from when this movie starts. Because this movie is basically the broadcasted version of the supposed televised broadcast version of this late night show and what happened on one Halloween night, like 1977, where it was also Sweeps Week. But if you know anything about television, you know Sweeps Week was like always one of the biggest fucking things for any or any channel. Like every channel was trying to beat each other on Sweeps Week, and like would bring in like ridiculous amounts of guest stars on their TV shows. So in an attempt to try to get like his last ditch effort to try to finally, become number one, he decides to throw everything at the wall for this one Halloween night episode, and all hell breaks loose. Uh, he first off, the guy who plays the host is fucking incredible. Like this guy is now becoming slowly one of my favorite actors. Like I want to get his name. What is his guy? It's hard to pronounce his last name. Where the fuck is that? Damn it. Uh, this is the guy I want to shout out because, god damn it, he's awesome in this movie. David, that's the McKillen. Fuck, I don't know. But yeah, he polka dot guy from. I'm gonna get his name right one of these days. So the polka dot guy from man from Suicide Squad is the host, and like from the get go, you could. He's so charming and likable. He's convincing as a late night host in the '70s, like that you would see back in the day, with all his cheesy jokes and one liners, and oh yeah, like he has his bandmate like his Andy Richter and uh and, different like he's their Max Weinberg, all that stuff like that. Like he's great, and they make it feel authentic. Like this is what we're watching. Like they go out of their way. Like it feels like a real talk show. I'm watching a real talk show as it was airing at the time, and I give them fucking props on that. And like so, because it's to the point that like there's even commercial breaks, but during the commercial breaks, you get to see a like behind the scenes of what was going on at the time, and it's only those scenes are only very about like about a minute short, or however long the commercial break is. That's how long those behind the scenes are, but they do fit the movie and are nice to kind of get a little bit more backstory behind everybody, like brief backstory behind everybody, and also like I said, like I love the guest. Like slowly but surely, what happens is like you see him like bring out his guest. First, he brings out a psychic where you start to see things are not going very well, but just very small. You're like, okay, something's off here, and then you the second guest is this guy who's a hypnotist, but also a skeptic about psychics and this paranormal, and his job is to try to figure out, like, prove them wrong and everything else like that. He's basically me. Because, like, as soon as, like, I thought they were going to do one of those things where they were making fun of the psychic, but at first, they made it look like it, but, like, he also, like, maybe knows is kind of like psychic or something like that, only in movie logic. But then, like, the skeptic, it has probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie later on in the movie where he does a hypnosis and it results in maybe my favorite fucking effect in the whole movie. To the point it got me. Like it actually got me. It's supposed to be a get you moment that that like that like you're surprised by it, and I was fucking genuinely surprised by it. Like that scene actually got me. It involved worms. It was pretty fucking creepy and really well done. The effect was really good. Um, then right after the skeptic, he decides to bring on this psychiatrist esque woman and her who just wrote a book about this little girl who was rescued from a satanic cult because the satanic panic from the '70s is prevalent throughout this fucking movie, and they set up in the beginning of the movie like where the nation is as a whole when this whole event transpired on television. And the satanic panic, this girl was rescued by a satanic cult who basically, you know, all killed themselves except one little girl who is possessed by the devil. And they decide that that's his main attraction. Like, we're going to have this girl who's supposedly possessed by the devil and the psychiatrist with her. And that's going to be like like he sees ratings. Like, that's like the host is And that is his goal. Is like, okay, I'm gonna finally go over to the top with this, go over the top with this, even though by all accounts, there's many points where you should go, yeah, I don't know about this. Like he should be calling this off. Like he should call it off all the time. But you get his motivations. He is hell bent. He wants to fucking succeed. He will do anything he wants to succeed. He's likable enough, and you want to see him succeed almost. Well, there's a point, like to what you gotta go. I don't know. Um, and that's as soon as the psychic and the girl appear, that's when all fucking hell breaks starts to break loose slowly but surely. And like I said, it's a movie you have to sit through a lot. Like you have to sit for a whole episode of a talk show, like a normal talk show. But it does have a pretty good payoff. I can see people being split on the payoff. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about it in a second. But one of the other things I will say, I like the little girl in this movie. She was giving me the fucking creeps, man. There was multiple times she would just like stare at the camera and just keep staring. And like she was giving me the fucking creeps. Like fucking quick, show this girl fucking staring at the camera, freaking me out, man. Like and she was pretty good. I liked her. And I give the possession scenes they were pretty good. Like it's hard to make a good or like an original demon possession movie because they've all been they're all the same. They've all been it's been done to death. Tired of them. What they do, I mean, they do stuff that's been done before, but it's also they find creative little ways to try and make it a little bit fresh. Like let alone just the concept. The thing somebody said this is basically network if you had the Exorcist. Uh, network meets the Exorcist is what somebody said. I think that's a pretty goddamn good comparison. Um, Now, as far as the last 15, 20 minutes of this movie, I could see people being split on it. I think my audience was. As I was walking out, it seemed like quite a few people some people didn't like the ending to the movie. I did. It's one of those endings, like, it could have ended like minutes, 10 minutes before it did. But if it did, and I wouldn't have been, if it did, I wouldn't actually had a problem with it. But I also still like the last like 10 minutes that we got after that. Because, man, that shit sticks with you. That ending stuck with me. The final ending, the final shot, that it stuck with me. And then, like on my way home, I was sitting there going, "Oh, so that's what that meant." And this is what when that character said this, and this, what that meant when this character said that. I'm like, okay, that's why that thing was mentioned. Or I was like, okay, like it's everything starts coming back, and you start thinking about the movie more and more. And like, dude, I fucking love. The more I thought about it, I was like, dude, I love this fucking movie. I love this ending. I was like, yeah, like I said, you could have gone. Like if they wanted to go the conventional route, they could have just ended it 10 minutes early, and it still would have been really good. But I still like this ending. Like it's one of those like because the movie opens as like this documentary about this talk show and a talk show host in the history of this talk show host in this talk show, and I was expecting it to come back, the narrator in the documentary to come back at the end. It doesn't. I was kind of disappointed because I really wanted to know what happened after the movie. It's, I mean, we probably could figure out what happened after the movie ended, but it still kind of would have been fun to see. Yeah, uh, I don't think it's very much open to interpretation of what happens after the movie ends. But I still I still liked it a lot. I, this is easily an A plus, man. I fucking love this movie. Like everything about I just like I was enthralled in this whole time. Like from like just like a love letter to like these old '70s like talk shows to the horror elements really getting better. Like definitely, creating causing a lot of tension and wondering where the fuck this was going. God damn, I love this movie, man. Go fucking see it. I had quite a crowd at this movie, so I'm really happy to. I'm hoping this movie's going to do really well. It only had like two show times. I don't know why. Like 7 and 10 o'clock. I don't know why, but that's what it is. Maybe it'll put more show times because if this movie starts seeing more of an audience every day, they might actually start putting more show times. Who knows? Like, hey, most successful movies of the last few years, as far as box office goes, have been horror movies. That's why you're seeing so much. They're cheap to make, and they make a lot of money, and they make their money back. So I don't blame studios for doing that. Anyways, that's as far as last night with the Devil. Tomorrow I'm going to be seeing Luca, the re-release of Luca and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Until then, I'll talk to you guys later.